Hi friends, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. So the SEC is cracking down again on Bitcoin, and if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, the One Ring has been found, which we'll go over both these stories, but I think it's fun to talk about. So let's jump right in and look at the headlines. SEC says spot Bitcoin ETF filings are inadequate. And if you don't know, BlackRock and Fidelity, they're basically trying to set up a ETF so you can buy this thing in your brokerage account, and then it'll basically track the price of Bitcoin. It was interesting because when the news came out that the filings weren't good enough, the price of Bitcoin shot down like a couple percent, like immediately. You guys see that it was like straight down. It has since recovered a bit. As a recording right now, we're around 30,000. We will see what it ends up doing, but I honestly think that this is a great example of the greater fool theory. And if you don't know what the greater fool theory is, the basic idea is that you are doing something dumb, right? Say in this case, buying Bitcoin. However, you may not necessarily be that dumb if you believe or hope that someone will be even dumber and buy it at a higher price than what you paid. And that's what this thing is really all about. So Bitcoin has been pumping the last month because there's been anticipation that, oh my God, BlackRock is getting into Bitcoin. Big money wants to be in Bitcoin, and therefore, we should all jump into Bitcoin together. And, again, it's all based on I buy something because I think it's going to go up because I think someone else is going to buy it. It's kind of funny, and it reminded me of the Magic the Gathering card. I guess what they did a promo. I saw the announcement. That was a few months ago. If you don't know, Magic Gathering is a card game, and you compete against each other. I like the game; it's fun. But you also make a joke about the game that it's also can be known as Money the Gathering. Just take all your money all the time because they're always releasing new cards that you have to buy. This particular thing was really interesting because they did a tie-in with Lord of the Rings, and they put out the One Ring. You guys know, like Frodo and the One Ring, that kind of thing, and Gollum. And the basic idea was that there would be only one printing of this thing. That's what it looks like. It's like a special printing, only one copy ever made. And someone found it, and I guess there was an offer for $2 million to whoever had found it. And it was interesting because what's sad, evidently, the person who found it, turned it in right away to the, it's called PSA. And for those of you who are in the card stuff, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But basically what you can do, you can see how this works. You get like a rating on your card. And I think they do this for any kind of memorabilia or collectible, right? Is you'll put it in like a plastic case, and then they'll say what condition is it in. And you'll see this stuff on eBay. This would be comic books, baseball cards, this kind of stuff. But they gave it a 9 out of 10. They say it's mint, but I guess to get a 10, you got to have like a perfectly printed card and text positioning, et cetera. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, but because it's crazy that you open up the pack and then you can't get a perfect rating on the card. But if you still sell it for $2 million because there's only one of those out there, hey, good luck to you. And it's interesting because this was actually a record. It's more than the Black Lotus one, which this is another Magic Gathering card which sold for $540,000. It's funny, and talking about Bitcoin and the greater fool theory. Or talking about Magic cards, I just feel like, I should just run a lottery channel to really rank. And I was looking at this, for example, recently the Powerball, it hit, 493 million. And this is actually really funny. You have a better chance of getting killed by a shark. So you have a 1 in 3.7 million chance to get killed by a shark, which is a better chance of that happening than the Powerball. And which is even more funny. Is that you can actually get killed by a vending machine. You have a 1 in 112 million chance to die by a vending machine. I have a better chance of doing that than winning the lottery. So that's why we don't necessarily do lottery / Powerball on the channel, because your chance of winning is so low. And I mean, I guess I could do it every day and just pump the lottery, but but I didn't realize that you could die by a vending machine. And I actually had to look this up. This is a real thing, and I'm not laughing like haha right now. But when I first saw this, I'm like, what the heck is this? But evidently, people actually do die. So basically, what it is, you can see here. So I guess in 95, there were 37 deaths, 113 injuries. Oh no, wait. Okay, it's a 95 study, but that was in between 78 to 95. So it's like roughly was a 17-year period, something like that. But the basic gist of it is that some people are like trying to rock these things back and forth to get food out of the vending machine, and the machine falls on you because these things are like 990 pounds. I know we're talking about people dying, but it's you have to admit it is kind of funny. And then I guess the military was even putting warning labels on the machines, and I can't remember because I was in the Navy, and I can't remember if I remember seeing this on base or not, if there are warning labels. Maybe I did and I just overlooked it. But for those of you in the military right now who are watching the channel, please let me know if there are warning labels on the vending machine that you could die from it. And evidently too that they make a joke that the vending machine thing is part of the Darwin Awards. And also Powerball, your odds of winning a 1 in 175 million. So the reason why I bring that up is I was kind of looking at, what's your chances of getting the One Ring with Magic the Gathering. I think it was like between 1 in 3 million or 1 in 5 million. So evidently someone did win $2 million. So kudos to them. But going back to, our market, and I just feel like everything is a greater fool theory, right? So Bitcoin, it's true. If you bought Bitcoin, back, whatever, 2016, 17, whatever, you're going to be up like 8,000, 9,000%, which is fantastic, right? And if you would have sold at the right time, you would have been up even more. Again, fantastic. But you have to understand, what is the value of this thing? It's based on, do you think someone else is going to buy it? Yes, you can make money on it, but what is a fair value? I have no idea. Like, how do you determine what a fair value for Bitcoin is? Because the use value basically, again, is I put money in it thinking that someone else is going to buy it. So that's always very risky. And, I talk about this stuff on the channel because I also keep it real. I totally understand that in this crazy market that we're in, it feels like our clown market is back. Even Carvana was pumping. And this is actually funny. People don't talk about Carvana enough. If you would have bought this at the right time, you would have been like soaring like crazy. And even at the bottom of the pandemic, it actually was one of the better stocks. No one talks about it because it's so ludicrous, right? And this is like the online used car thing, and it ended up being a scam. I think I looked it up before I was sharing on the channel. It was like the father and son thing. They've been involved in other scams as well. The thing is down like 90-some%. However, to be fair, which is really funny, if you would have bought this thing in January, you're up 400 and some %. So I've been noticing it's been going up and down like 20% every day. So these things are highly, highly risky. And again, it's all based on greater fool theory. You buy it because you think someone else is going to buy it, and it works until it doesn't. And that's how it is. Now, going back to the Bitcoin thing, the reason why I call it the greater fool thing is I'm just not into this stuff. And I get it. People say, hey, this is to protect against inflation, it's protect against the evil governments around the world, etc. But I think you have a lot of challenges ahead, right? The SEC is not approving the Bitcoin ETF. Moreover, this was an interesting thing I was looking at. So 130 countries around the world are exploring a digital currency. So that's the CBDC, right? And it's interesting because and that would be the central bank digital currency. We don't know what that means as CBDC, but it was interesting because I think it's when you look at this map here, it's like 98% of global GDP of these countries are looking into doing it. The one that was really interesting is Europe. I think they're going to be launching theirs. It's like the European Central Bank. I think it's like October. And I was looking at this one too. There's a funny headline: "Digital dollars bipartisan problem." Evidently, the people who are against, say, in the USA, having a US CBDC, right? So digital currency or digital dollar. And the way that they put it is mainstream Republicans would be against that kind of thing. Silicon Valley libertarians and anti-establishment leftists. So these are the kind of people who are against the digital dollar. I myself don't have any problem with it, but I do get the arguments. The main one is people are worried about privacy, being tracked, this kind of stuff. And there's another real concern is like, let's say, for example, my dollar is a digital, and what if we have a power outage? Like, how is that going to work? I think my answer on that one is, we'll probably have phones with batteries in it, but, do we want to be relying entirely on electronics to buy and sell things? Which I always think has been a really interesting conversation with, say, Bitcoin. Let's say, eventually for example, I'm not saying we're doing it, but say, for example, we all go digital money and, we're all going to be, trading cryptos or whatever. And yeah, I think that's a real concern. What if like the world loses power or whatever? Like, can you not buy anything anymore? So that'll be interesting if we actually did that. And I was thinking, like, for example, in this Star Trek world, I like sci-fi stuff. Oftentimes they do transfer credits to each other. However, in those kind of shows, even in those science fiction shows, they also carry around sort of chips and stuff like that, and they do use physical assets. So people often ask me too when I bring these concepts, what do you think about gold or silver? So I'm not into that stuff myself. However, it is a physical thing, so I don't think necessarily, gold's ever going to go to zero. Like literally, it's physical. It has some value to it. You can use it, for jewelry or whatever kind of things you want. Silver, or if you want to buy lithium, that actually has some physical value. So, there certainly can be case to made if you want to buy that kind of stuff. I'm not into like, hey guys, you got to buy my gold. Usually, the channels who pump gold, and I've talked about this before on the channel. Basically, what it is they will tell you every day the news that the world is going to end, and therefore buy gold from my gold company, and they make money off selling you gold. So that's why they do that kind of thing, and that's why those type of channels appeal to that kind of audience. It's the same way that people that basically say, hey, it's going to rain, and therefore you should buy my umbrella. And that's essentially what all of these doomsday channels say. They try to sell you products for doomsday, and then the channel just tells you over the news is doomsday. So for me, I cover all kinds of topics, and I try to talk about all different kinds of things and to give my honest opinion on this stuff. And I'd like to hear your guys' ones as well. So for me, I'm not into this digital currency stuff, meaning crypto. But I do think this is actually going to be a really interesting path going forward. How many countries will adopt it, and we'll keep an eye on the European one. This was also too, which is very, very interesting. So you can read the headlines here. Is China central bank vows to stabilize yuan. This is the slide deepens, and so I guess the Chinese yuan. How do we say it? I used to live in Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, and I can't remember how we say the word. I want to say it's yuan. I can't remember. My Chinese is so bad right now. So please write in the comments. I just forget. I'm so embarrassed. I can't remember. I'm not that embarrassed, but I just can't remember how you say it. It's I know the word for money is like tian, but anyway, it's at a 15-year low, and it's interesting because I was thinking about this of why is Bitcoin pumping? Why is the dollar up? Maybe people are nervous about the whole situation, trying to be at the consumers aren't buying stuff, factories aren't producing stuff, goods aren't coming out anymore, and maybe the Chinese people, the rich people there are losing faith in it. The real estate market crashed and stuff like that, and so we'll see how the government responds, and I think all of these issues are all related, right? You have the greater fool theory in competition with, what a government's going to want to do, because, one of the things is like, if you're coming with an alternative currency that challenges, one of the fiat currencies of a government, I mean, good luck with that. So, we'll see. I wouldn't put a lot of faith into whether or not BlackRock and Fidelity's application to the the SEC and their spot Bitcoin thing. I wouldn't put a lot of faith in that, but that's just me. So anyway, I do appreciate your time. Hopefully this was fun for you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.